Hello students, today I am going to start chapter number 9, reproduction. Students, modes of reproduction in animals are as follows. There are two modes of reproduction in animals. Number one is sexual reproduction and number two is asexual reproduction. The first one is sexual reproduction. This type of reproduction that begins with the fusion of male and female gametes is called sexual reproduction. Reproductive parts in humans. As you can see in this picture, there is a sperm duct which is connected with the testes. These testes lies inside the scrotum. So through scrotum there is a duct which is called sperm duct, and through this duct sperms goes into the urethra. Urethra is a common passage for urine also. As you can see, there is a urinary bladder which is also connected with urethra. There is a small two organs, seminal vesicle and corpus gland. These two glands, corpus glands, and one more gland is there, prostate gland. These two glands secrete their secretions into the urethra also. This muscular structure is called penis, and these organs inside the scrotum is called testes. We will discuss all these one by one. The male reproductive system provides the sperm. Sperms are also known as male gametes. So male reproductive system provides sperms for fertilization. The male reproductive organs includes the following. Number one is penis. Penis is a slender shaped organ containing a small opening at its top. As you can see in this picture, this is called penis. It is a muscular structure, and there is an opening also at the top of this. It secretes semen which contains male gametes or sperms. Just now I told you, sperm from the testes goes into the urethra through sperm duct. So sperms are also known as male gametes. The second one is scrotum. It is a sac-like structure. Sac means bag. As you can see in this image, this is bag-like structure. Here you can see this is scrotum. Okay, it is bag-like structure present behind the penis. Here you can see it is behind the penis. The testicles or testes are present in this organ. As you can see in this bag, there is testes. This structure is called testes. Okay, it provides them the right temperature so that they can produce sperm. Students, please remember one more thing, that inside our body the temperature is high. It is approx 37 degrees centigrade, which is not suitable for the production of sperm. That's why this organ, this is the only organ which is present outside our body. Okay, the next one is testes. Most males have a pair of testes or testicles. The testes consist of coiled tube-like structures that produces sperm. Testes, just now I show you, this structure is called testes, which is present inside the scrotum. Okay, the testes also generate the male sex hormone. Means from testes, testes produce sperms also, and along with sperms they also produce male sex hormones, which is called testosterone. Okay, students, please remember these two things, testosterone and sperms. These two things are produced from testes. This hormone, which is testosterone, causes puberty in males. The meaning of puberty I will explain you later. The next one is urethra. Urethra, it is a tube-like structure. Here you can see this red color structure. This is called urethra. Okay, it is a tube-like structure that allows the flow of semen. Semen means semen contain sperms, so it allows the flow of sperms outside the body. The urethra and penis both are also a part of male urinary system. Means through urethra, urine also comes out from the body. The next is vas deferens. It is a tube that carries the sperm from testicle to urethra. From testis to urethra. Sperm duct. This sperm duct is also called vas deferens. Okay. Vas deferens is sperm duct. Okay. The next one is prostate gland. It is a gland located under the urinary bladder. It secretes prostate fluid, which makes the 1/3 content of semen. Means we can say that in semen, along with sperms, prostate gland secretion is also present. This fluid contains some enzymes, zinc and citric acid. I show you. Here is the prostate gland. Okay, this one is seminal vesicle and these are Cowper's gland. You remember three things. Okay, the prostate gland you understood. Next one is seminal vesicles. They have a pouch-like structure. It is a small pouch-like structure. They are located above the prostate gland. Just now I show you above the prostate gland and connect with the vas deferens. They also secrete a fluid that provides nourishment to the sperm. Means we can say that in semen there is a sperm, there is a fluid which secretes from prostate gland, and there is a secretion also present which secretes from seminal vesicle. So semen contains prostate gland juice, seminal vesicle juice and sperms. Now we talk about male sex hormone or testosterone. The testis produces testosterone and the pituitary gland controls how much testosterone will be produced. This hormone is responsible for the development of male sex organs and development of secondary sexual character in males during puberty, such as deepening of voice and growth of facial and body hairs. In this picture, you can see there is a sperm cell. The sperm is divided into three parts. The first part is called head, the next is middle piece or middle part, and the last part is tail. In the middle piece, there are numerous mitochondria which provides energy to sperm, and in the head there is a nucleus and there is a acrosome. In nucleus there is a genetic material. Okay, the testis secretes millions of sperms together. The sperm comprises of a single cell. This is a complete one cell. Okay, and has a specific structure with three main parts, which are head, middle part and tail. The next is female reproductive organs. Students, as you can see in this picture, the female reproductive system provides female gametes, which are also known as eggs, for fertilization. In male reproductive system, we got sperms, and from female reproductive system we got eggs. Sperm and eggs, they are called gametes. So eggs are female gamete and sperms are male gametes. The female reproductive organs are, the first one is ovary. As you can see here in this image, this is ovary. Okay, the female reproductive system comprises a pair of ovaries. One is this side and another is this side. These are the main female sex organs and are responsible for the production of female gametes, which are called eggs or ova, or in singular form we can say ovum. These ovaries along with eggs also produces female hormones. The ova or female eggs also consist of a single cell. Means egg is a single cell. The hormone which are released from ovaries are estrogen and progesterone. These are hormones or chemical substances, means estrogen and progesterone. They are produced by ovaries. These hormones are responsible for the development of female reproductive organs and the secondary sexual characteristics in women, such as development of breast and body hairs. The second is oviduct or fallopian tube. You can see in this picture there is a fallopian tube, this complete tube, which is divided into three parts: isthmus, ampulla, and this one, infundibulum. Okay, these three collectively known as fallopian tube. Okay, there are two funnel-shaped structures that extend from superior right and left corners of the uterus to the edge of ovaries. Here you can see in this picture, they are extended from left to right side, from the edge to the ovaries. So there are two funnel-shaped structures that extend from the superior right and left, means from left corner to the right corner of the uterus to the edge of ovaries. The ovaries release one egg every month into the oviduct. The oviduct consists of cilia that carries the ovum from oviduct to uterus. This means it is clear to you. There are two ovaries and there are a pair of fallopian tubes also. And from these ovaries, eggs are produced, and with the help of oviduct, which consist of cilia, they carry ovum from oviduct to uterus. The next part is uterus. It is an inverted pear-shaped organ that allows the development of fertilized egg into a human body. The uterus connects with an opening called cervix that connects it to vagina. Students, in this diagram, you can see this is the place which is called uterus. Okay, this uterus is connected with the help of cervix to the vagina. Okay, this is female reproductive system, and there is uterus. Uterus is connected with the ovary with the help of this oviduct. Okay, so from ovary, eggs move from here and through oviduct they pass into the uterus. Okay, this uterus then connected to vagina through cervix. Next, the last part is vagina. It is a muscular tube-like structure that connects with the cervix. It acts as a receptor of the penis and allows the movement of sperm to the fallopian tube and uterus. It also allows delivery of the fetus during the birth of the child. Puberty. The onset of the sexual maturity occurs in boys at the age of 11 to 16 and in girls at the age of 10 to 15 years is known as puberty. In boys, puberty is marked by, or puberty is recognized by, the following features. After puberty, the voice becoming deeper, growth of hair on face and body, development of muscles, and production of sperms by the testes. In girls, it is marked by breast becomes bigger and hips get more rounded. These changes are caused by hormones that are different in girls and boys. Next is menstrual cycle. When females hit puberty, they start producing mature eggs every month, indicating the ability to reproduce. This process of giving mature eggs every month is called menstrual cycle. In this cycle, the ovaries produces an egg every month that travel to the uterus and attach to its lining. If the egg is not fertilized, the uterus sheds its lining and the egg, which result in bleeding in the females. On an average, the duration of menstrual cycle is 28 days. The cycle starts at puberty, means around at the age of 10 to 11 years, and lasts until the age of 45 to 55 years. Next process is gametogenesis. It is a process of production of gametes by the male and female primary reproductive organs. It occurs in 3 phases in both males and females. It is the process of production of gametes. Male gamete is sperm and female gamete is egg. So it occurs in 3 phases. The first one is multiplication phase, second is growth phase or maturation phase, the last one is meiotic phase. Gametogenesis in males is also called spermatogenesis, and in females it is called oogenesis. It occurs in the testes in males and results in the formation of sperm cells. Gametogenesis in female is also called oogenesis. It occurs in ovaries and results in the production of female egg or ova. After the formation of gametes, fertilization takes place. Fertilization means fusion of male and female gametes. Firstly, reproduction in animals begins when sperm fuses with ovum. This process is called fertilization. Fertilization. Reproduction in animals begins with the sperm fuses with an ovum. Sperm, which is also called male gamete, and ovum, which is also called female gamete. The fusion of these two types of gametes is called fertilization. This process of fusion of sperm and ovum is called fertilization. The nuclei of sperm and egg, they get combined together and form a single nucleus. As a result, means after fertilization or after the fusion of sperm and egg, zygote is formed. Since the zygote is formed with the fusion of male and female gametes, the new individual possesses the characteristics of both the parents. It is because the sperms came from a male and egg come from female. That's why there is a combined characteristics of both parents, male and female. You can see in this picture, this is ovum, okay, and there is a sperm. At the head of the sperm there is a DNA or genetic material which get fused with the nucleus of ovum. After the fertilization process, zygote is formed. The fertilization can be divided into two types. First is internal fertilization and second is external fertilization. The fertilization process which takes place inside the female body. Inside the female body, that's why it is called internal fertilization. But when the fertilization process takes place outside the body of females, then it is called external fertilization. Internal fertilization, less number of eggs are produced by such females as there are high chances of survival of the offspring. But in case of external fertilization, large number of eggs are produced by such females as the chances of survival of the offspring are very low. The examples of internal fertilizations: cows, human beings, ants, etc. The examples of external fertilization are aquatic animals like fishes, amphibian like frogs, etc. External fertilization in frogs and toads. Frogs and toads reproduce by laying eggs in the slow stream or ponds. The female frog first lay hundreds of eggs together in the water. These eggs are not covered with any hard shell. Instead, there is a jelly-like substance that guards them all and holds them together. Means female frog, they lay hundreds of eggs inside water which are not covered with any hard shell, or instead they are covered with a jelly-like substance so that they can hold all together. As the female frog lay their eggs, the male frog deposits the sperm over them. This results in external fertilization when the sperms come in contact with the eggs in water. Though the eggs are large in numbers and only a few of them manage to survive. There are several factors which may hinder the fertilization process, such as exposing to water movement, rainfall, weeds, and other animals. This is how the external fertilization in frogs and toads takes place. Now, internal fertilization in birds, reptiles, and mammals, the male deposits the sperm inside the reproductive system of the female. Means male deposit its sperm. Fertilization occurs and the zygote is formed. Fertilization means fusion of male and female gamete. After fertilization, zygote is formed inside the female's body. This type of fertilization that occurs inside the body of a female is known as internal fertilization. Okay. Now the development of the embryo. The zygote formed after the fertilization process divides itself in a repeated manner and forms a bunch of cells. This is actually bunch. Bunch of cells. These cells are then form different groups, and each group then start developing into different tissues and organs. This structure after the division in zygote is now called embryo. As you can see in this picture, this is zygote which is formed after the fertilization process. This zygote got divided and forms many cells. Now this zygote is called embryo. The embryo embeds itself into the uterus. This embryo embeds itself into the uterus. This is uterus. Okay. The embryo embeds itself into the uterus wall and continue to develop and grow. So we can say that development of embryo takes place inside the uterus and fertilization process takes place inside the fallopian tube. Soon the body parts such as hands, legs, feet, eyes and ears start developing. The embryo, whose parts can be identified individually, is called a fetus. So students, it is clear. First zygote is formed and after many division, zygote get converted into embryo and then embryo gets converted into fetus. The fetus then completely develops and takes birth as a baby. So how we can differentiate between a zygote and embryo? Zygote consists of a single cell, whereas embryo consists of more than one cell. It is formed as the fertilization process occurs, and embryo is formed after the fertilization processes. It has no well-defined organs or tissues. In embryo, the body parts and tissues are well defined based on the way how the organism give birth to their offspring are classified into two categories. Again, number one is viviparous animals and number two is oviparous animals. These are the organisms that give birth to their young ones directly. For example, human beings, dogs, cattle and cats. So we are viviparous. What are the oviparous? These are the organisms that reproduce by laying eggs. For example, fishes, reptiles, amphibians and like hen, they give egg. That's why they are called oviparous. And human beings are called viviparous. The next topic is turning into adult from young ones. An individual are born, they continue to grow until they turn into adults. The young ones may or may not look like the same when they become adults. For example, in case of frog and silkworm, the adult and the young ones are completely different, as you can see in this picture. Okay, this is the life cycle of a frog. In the tadpole state or in the egg, as you can see in the eggs, they are completely different. When they turn tadpoles, their looks different. When they become froglet, and after that when they become adult, they look quite different from each other. Okay, now what is metamorphosis? The process in which the young ones undergo drastic changes as they develop into an adult is called metamorphosis. Okay, students, the process in which young ones undergo drastic changes. For example, as you can see in this picture also, and in this picture also you can see the example of metamorphosis. Human beings do not undergo metamorphosis. This is because their body parts remain the same from the childhood to adulthood. But you can see in caterpillar, you can see this silk larva. Here you can see a female moth lays many tiny eggs on the leaves. This is egg. Then these eggs got converted into larva. Then these larva forms cocoon, and from this cocoon, adult moth are produced. So this is the process in which young ones or larva is completely different from the adult one. So this process is called metamorphosis. Now our next topic is asexual reproduction in animals. This type of reproduction involves only one parent, whereas the sexual reproduction involves two parents, male and female. But in asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved. It takes place in microscopic animals, for example, amoeba, and small animals like hydra. The first one is budding in hydra. Means in hydra, asexual reproduction takes place by budding. As you can see the images, this is the parent hydra, and on the body of parent hydra there is a tiny worm appears. This tiny worm develops in the form of a small bud. When this bud grows, it gets converted into a complete hydra and get detached from the body of parent one. So just like yeast, reproduction in hydra takes place through the process called budding. The hydra possesses different bulges on itself called buds. This is called bud. Okay. These buds develop into individual hydra. Each hydra can possess a different number of buds. Now next one is binary fission in amoeba. The amoeba divides itself into two individuals and the reproduction takes place in this way. It is called binary fission. As you can see in this picture, there is a parent amoeba. Parent amoeba undergo the elongation of nucleus and the cell. After that, development of a groove takes place. Groove means something which helps in breaking down of this cell. As you can see, groove is more distinct here. These grooves, due to the formation of this groove, division of nucleus and cytoplasm takes place, and after this they get separated into two different daughter cells. So this is called binary fission. Binary means splitting into two parts. So amoeba divides itself into two individuals and the reproduction takes place in this way. It's called binary fission. Amoeba consists only one cell. As it reproduces, the nucleus of amoeba divides itself and form two different nuclei. First they form two different nuclei. Then division of the body of the amoeba takes place and each part receives one nucleus. In this way, two amoebas are produced from a single parent. Okay, so students, here is the end of this chapter. I hope you like. If you have any doubt, any problem, you can ask me or you can message me on WhatsApp. Please make notes of this chapter and try to solve all the questions. Thank you very much.